You know, Mr. Speaker, one of the biggest threats to peace in the Middle East and possibly the whole world is for the United States and our friends and allies around the world to stop Iran's nuclear development program. We have been working for months and months to come up with a very, very strong Iran sanctions bill. The bill has finally passed the House and the Senate, and because of the differences in the bill, we're in a conference committee. And we have a very strong bill, one that will put extreme pressure on Iran and possibly avert a war in the Middle East. But now we're hearing that the bill is going to be watered down. It's going to be made weaker. And if it's made weaker, that means the pressure will not be put on Iran, that should be, and they will continue with their nuclear development program, and we could be in a war in the Middle East that will far exceed what we've seen in Iran and in Iraq and Afghanistan. Now I want to read to you from a report that was issued just last week. Quote, Iran has set up new equipment that will allow it to boost its efficiency at enriching uranium at higher levels. Iran's clandestine enrichment activities were discovered 8 years ago and have expanded since to encompass thousands of centrifuges churning out material enriched to 3.5%. But despite 3 sets of Security Council sanctions meant to enforce demands of a freeze, Tehran moved to a new level in February when it set up a small program to produce material enriched to nearly 20%. And 20% can be used for a nuclear weapon. The story continued, but the move has increased concerns because it brings the Islamic Republic closer to the ability to produce warhead material. Uranium at 3.5% can be used to fuel reactors, which is Iran's avowed purpose for enrichment. If enriched to around 95%, however, it can be used in building a nuclear bomb, and at 20%, uranium can be turned into weapons-grade material much more quickly than from lower levels. The 20% uranium is being produced by a cascade, and the cascade is 164 centrifuges hooked up in a series. The diplomat said that Iranian technicians had in recent weeks assembled another 164 centrifuge cascade, and the throw of a switch appeared ready to activate it to support the machines already turning out small amounts of near 20% uranium. We don't know how long it's going to be before Iran has nuclear weapons, but we know it's not going to be too long. And every day we wait to put pressure on Iran is a day they're closer to developing nuclear technology that could start a war over there, obliterate our friends in Israel, and cause a major war that we'll have to be involved with. We get about 40% of our energy from the Middle East. And if a war breaks out over there and in the Gulf states, the Persian Gulf could be blocked, and we would lose so much energy we wouldn't even be able to run the lights in this place. It's extremely important that we have a very strong Iran sanctions bill. And I'm on the conference committee, and I would just say to my colleagues who are conferees, let's make it tough as possible. Because the one thing we want to do is avert a major war with Iran in the Middle East. And I can tell you, I know Bibi Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, and he's not going to stand by and watch a weapon that could obliterate, destroy Israel, be produced right next door there in Iran. So it's important that the United States take the lead by coming up with a very strong bill that will put sanctions on Iran that they will really realize will stop them economically if they don't stop their nuclear development program. This is probably going to be one of the last chances we're going to have to stop a nuclear program in Iran that's going to develop a nuclear weapon and possibly cause a major, major war and proliferation of nuclear weapons throughout the Middle East. This is a very important time, not only for them in the Middle East, Israel and our allies, but it's a big, important time for the United States and all of our allies in Europe. We can't let a terrorist state like Iran get a nuclear weapon, and that's why we need to pass a very, very strong Iran sanctions bill, and we need to do it right away. I yield back the balance of my time.